Most chapters are gonna like request a small yearly due, which is usually about $15 or $20. Yeah, just a sense of community and belonging, knowing that you have people like you or and people who have the same background as you. Because I know a lot of us, when we're in high school, you don't really meet that many Kenyans, or you can't really relate all the way with that many people. And that's one thing that I realized. Like once I got to college, I was like, oh wow, there's a very big group who I pretty much had the same story growing up, of where we can understand Swahili but not speak it, and just things of that nature where like we just understand each other better.
So my son also graduated from UNT.
Okay.
So who can we reach out to?
You really can't join C when you're outside of college, but there's another group that I'm a part of called Gen Z, and it was started, and that's something that you should join, which all of you guys should also join if you guys are Gen Z and Kenyans. Reach out to me, and then I'll make sure to get you guys to join to the big group.
Sometimes I think as parents we struggle to feel that discipline. We're now getting involved because I know one of them is actually graduate and congratulations with that. And also,
So one thing that I've learned, it's definitely important to have structure in your life and to have a set routine if you can, something that you're able to follow, especially getting good at what you made in college, which I bet you guys don't want to pay that much. But yeah, it's really important to be disciplined, to want to do your homework and do your schoolwork, even if you don't really feel throughout college and getting a job, because it starts early, getting in that habit, getting in that routine, and even just setting yourself on to do other extracurriculars. You're gonna be kind of average, and it's gonna be hard for you to get a job. Because, like I said, I have a lot of friends who just did get the good grades, and then once they graduated,
it's the process of you chasing after that internship, how hard it starts to think about that. And I know you in accounting, so this you kind of knew where you were going. But I think even just to prepare yourself as much as you're doing these other activities to kind of mold you, better, I guess to say. But as far as you know what you want, it's not losing that focus.
so yeah, so I recommend your second semester of your freshman year, start getting very serious about looking for an internship or maybe doing something on your own. For myself, my freshman year, I didn't necessarily get an internship, but I was doing a thing called dropshipping in the e-commerce space. So I was making money on the side, which was able to help me translate into accounting, which a lot of the companies that I was sent my application for, they really liked. And as a matter of fact, my manager was telling me how much she thought it was very cool that I was making money on the side doing e-commerce, having a business on my own, and that was kind of the reason why she helped chose me. But for other people, if you're in like specifically finance and I would recommend doing day trading. Maybe day trading if you're not able to get an internship, or if you're in IT, making an AI bot that could potentially help a company or just a project on the side, like doing something to just get any type of experience in your second semester of your freshman year, because I know it is hard to get an actual internship then. So then by the time it's your sophomore year, you have something on there and you can start shooting at bigger places. And your sophomore year, you probably also will get something smaller, which you should just want to keep applying. The earlier you start, the better. Yeah.
Let me say something about
Just the basic things before.
So I used to do recruiting in college, so we go to universities to look for students. So I encourage anybody, if you're a freshman and you don't know what's going on, just go to the career fair, go walk around, talk to the employers and ask them, what are you looking for? What should I prepare for so that next year I'm eligible for an internship? You'll be surprised. People will share a lot of information. When I was in college and freshman, I never went. Sophomore, I didn't go, right? So I encourage you, the first semester you get there, semester, I'm ready for you.
That is very true, like what you said, but I also like to emphasize that extracurricular part, making sure you can do a project on the side and being involved in other campuses. That really sets you apart, more than you alone.
Thank you, Mr. Sean. Before you leave the stage, one question for you. How much of AI did you use to cheat?
And that's a very good question. You know, once ChatGPT came out, I would say about 40–50%.
Okay, that's the honest answer I've ever had. Guys, we're gonna be going around. You'll find out today. You will tell us the truth.
Honestly, nowadays, you really can't use AI because of all the resources they have and detections. And even back then, AI was still kind of hard to use, so you still had to know what you were doing and knew what to tell, which would honestly make you end up wasting more time.
All right. So next time we'll call you to teach us how to go undetected. Thank you. Please clap for Sean. If you have any questions that you still need answered by Sean or anybody here, please, you know where to find us. You know your path, everybody where he is. But because we are late a little bit, we'll skip something here and go straight to the next speaker. So our next speaker is going to be online. Is she ready? You good?
In the meantime, all of the youth here, who asked the first question? Lift your hand. There you go. She gets $15 Chick-fil-A.
Give her the mic. All right. All right. As we are trying to figure out, this is Joy. She's going to be online. Joy is a pre-med student in South Methodist University, where she is pursuing a degree in health and society with a minor in biology. Beyond academic pursuit, Joy is deeply involved in ministry at the Nema Gospel Church, where she serves as a youth leader, worship leader, and head of youth worship team in Nema Church. Through her leadership, she is passionate about mentoring and disciplining. I'm curious to hear about disciplining more young people, using worship, faith, and service to make meaningful impact. She also has a strong interest in intersection of healthcare, community development, and faith-based leadership. All right, so she brings the leadership in education. We good? And she hears us. Miss Joy, can you hear us? Anybody online who can hear us?
Anybody online who can hear us?
Say something? Can you say something online? So as we wait to figure out the rate. The microphone?
Hello?
There you go. Say something again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I'm not home right now, but hi everyone. My name is Joy Hope Mwenda. Let me turn on my camera. Can you all see me? I am currently a senior, and I'll just walk you through my journey. So I came to the US in 2019. I was 14 years old, so I did my high school here, but I had done my primary school or middle school and elementary in Kenya. So I was in boarding school, and I had joined high school for about 2 terms. Then we moved here. Um, I went to LD Bell High School in Hurst, Texas. I graduated in 2023. Then I joined UNT in 2023 and transferred to SMU in 2024. So I did 1 year UNT, then transferred to SMU. And that's where I continued with my pre-med journey. I was a bio major at UNT, but then I switched my major to Health and Society at SMU. And that is what I'm currently doing. So through that, I think something I would advise you all when applying to college is, first of all, choose a college that has the major that you want, especially if you're at STEM, pre-med, engineering, AI, all of those. Make sure that the college that you're choosing is one that has that major, because some colleges do say that they have them, but the programs are really small, so it might not help you once you graduate. Another thing is, make sure when you're applying to the colleges, apply for scholarships. Most colleges are willing to give you scholarships if you apply. Some will automatically apply scholarships due to merits, like SMU does that. So make sure you're also getting good grades when applying to college, because these schools, most of them really care about your grades, really care about your extracurriculars. And if you're not in extracurriculars, use the essay. The essays will really speak for you, and they will really help you when applying to even the programs that you want to apply to. Another thing I would say is join clubs when you go to college, especially ones that have something to do with your major. So, example, I am pre-med, so I am in, I think, 3 pre-med clubs, and they usually help you with experience, they help you talk to other people, they help you network. Um, Another thing is, make sure you stay steady on your faith, because college, I'm speaking on the college experience, and you'll meet a lot of people when you go to college. For those who are already in college, you already know that. So make sure you're very steady in your faith. Make sure you pray, make sure you read the word, because that is what will help you and set you apart from others. That's it. If any of you have any questions, please let me know.
All right, any questions for Joe? Let's try to see how we can ask them to online. Let's try this.
Because of the echo, you're gonna move away from this.
I'm trying to ask a question.
So what motivated your transition from UNT to SMU?
So at first, I did not want to go to UNT. I chose the calling because it was close to home, but I later realized that it didn't align with my goals, so I decided to switch to another school. I also had motivation from a family friend who works there, and he told me about it and said SMU is probably a better school for when you're applying to med school, because they also care about where you come from. They also care about how you're doing in that school, and doing well in SMU versus doing well in UNT will stand out. So I decided to switch to SMU because of that.
When did you find out what to do? What you wanted to do? Sorry.
I think for me, I have wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to be, when I was young, I wanted to be an engineer, I wanted to be a banker, I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a lot of things. At some point, I wanted to be a model. But that quickly changed in high school when I realized I something that would help and still have something to do with science and math and kids. And it worked out perfectly because in med school or rather in medicine, I want to do pediatrics. So I'll work with kids, I'll have a lot of science and math, and I'll be helping the community in a way.
Whose phone is this? I don't think so. Ask a question.
Are there any other questions? I think she dropped off.
What was your first year in college like?
My first year in college was pretty, how would I describe it? It wasn't challenging, but it wasn't the best. Because again, I didn't want to go to UNT, so I didn't get involved in the clubs. I didn't get involved in the the African Student Association. I didn't get involved in a lot of things. I didn't even make friends. But if I was speaking from my first year in SMU, I think I would count that as my first year in college because I think I got to experience college through that. I made a lot of friends. I joined clubs, and that honestly, I think is the highlight. Having friends who are in the same field, having friends who are in similar fields, because I have friends who are pre-law, I have friends who are pre-med, I have friends who are in the engineering school. So having friends that also wanted to study, that also are Christians, really helped ease the transition between UNT and SMU. My first year at UNT, I think I was also going through something that I will not speak about. So that was pretty hard on me. So I didn't really experience it as much, but I did make sure to keep my grades up. So I think that's what also helped me transition well into SMU.
The question back here. Go ahead, go.
Questions for you?
Okay.
How much was playing for a worship team matter on my transcripts? Like I played bass.
They like seeing a well-rounded student. So if you have good grades and you're in the worship team at church, and then maybe you're in another club at school, it shows that you're a well-rounded student. It shows that you can handle a lot of things at once because being on a worship team is really tedious. It requires a lot. It requires time. It requires effort. And if you're good at what you do and you have people who can speak on it, that will show them that you can handle the rigor of college. You are worth giving a scholarship. What major are you looking into?
Ask the question.
Gonna get an answer?
Yeah.
Medical school.
So yeah, medical. So the same path as me. Yeah. Even when applying to medical school, that will show them that you are a well-rounded student. They like seeing someone who's not just focused on school. They can do things outside of school. So being on a worship team will actually help you.
Wait, there's a question here.
Congratulations.
Hope for the 5 years come. Thank you.
Taking you back to the part where you talked of being in a space that you really didn't feel like you liked it. It's your space. If you don't mind, did I lose her?
No, I can hear you.
Could you speak more about it? How did you overcome? Did you feel like, did you at any point feel like you were losing the path to your dream? How did you overcome? Eventually, if you did get to SMU, did you feel like you were losing the path to your dream? How did you overcome that?
I had really supportive parents. One thing I will say about the pre-med, which I think this is with every STEM major, it's hard. the higher level classes. So for those who are pre-med, you will have to do some science classes before you do the MCAT. And those classes are meant to weed you out of that major because they want to make sure that you're well prepared for med school. So I had really supportive parents. There's a lot of times where I wanted to give up. I called my parents crying, telling them I think I don't want to be a doctor anymore because of the classes that I have to take. But they always encouraged me. Another thing is my faith. My faith really held me down when I felt like giving up on my dream. I think that also is what took me to UNT because I had God. I always prayed. Whenever I felt down, whenever I felt like giving up, I always prayed. I always put on some worship music, and that will help me realize that life is actually okay. I can do this. I think another thing is the support system I had at church. I had friends who, even to this day, call me doctor. I'm not yet a doctor, but they call me doctor. And so knowing that there are people who believe in me, knowing that there are people who trust that I can do this, also pushed me up a little bit. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Any other question?
There's one here.
How will middle school be like?
Repeat the question for him. The name is here.
He's asking in American English. He's saying, how will middle school be like? Did I get it correct?
I did not go to middle school here. I went to middle school in Kenya and I was in boarding school. So that is a completely different experience. So I don't think I can speak to that since I haven't experienced it.
Or, Jamo, is there anybody in the audience who can answer that?
But I can team tag. If there's anyone who has been through middle school that would like to speak on
Right
that,
here.
I can pass on the question to someone else.
Somebody's here. Middle school.
For me, I just entered high school, and then my middle school year was
Quite interesting.
I would say from like fifth to sixth grade, you should be mostly fine in your classes, but it'll start getting a little much harder seventh to eighth grade because that's when the classes start getting a little hard. In like eighth grade, you could like jump ahead, take high school classes, which I did. This is what I did. So when I was taking those classes, beginning of the year, I took it like it was like a regular like sixth grade, fifth grade class. I didn't study much, but I
realized that in my senior year of high school. Yeah, my parents are both in the medical field. They're both nurses, and always seeing them in scrubs spoke to me somehow. And I realized that I wanted to do something in the medical field when I saw myself helping people. I really actually like the fact that as a doctor, you get to help people of many ages, depending on what you want to do. You help young people, you help old people, you help mothers, you help fathers, you help teenagers. So, because I want to work with kids, I decided I want to do pediatrics. Also, I think now, after now doing my classes in college, again, I'm a health and society major, and the focus on that is anthropology and sociology, and you get to learn about the previous medical system in the US and in other parts of the world, and seeing how people were mistreated, especially people of our color, is pushing me to become a better doctor because that still happens to date. I also have friends who have been through the medical system and have experienced a lot of injustice, and so I want to be the difference. I want to do something that makes a difference, even though it's just in one life.
One last question for her. All right. Please, round of applause for you. We have one more. No, it's okay. You can sit down. Yeah, the next section is gonna be live before we move online again one more time. So, Grace, Grace is one of us. She's a Kipna member. She's gonna just speak to you, but before she starts speaking, I just wanna mention, I don't know how we will do this. We were supposed to have a break, but we're gonna skip it for now a little bit. We have drinks, we have food, we call them snacks, remember? They're snacks, so there's no yamatoma yet. We are gonna get there soon. So we will not stand right now. Let's speak because she's here. And then after she finishes, we will have like a 2-minute break, have some food, have some snacks before we continue. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, it's so quiet in here. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right. I noticed they're all different ages. I just wanted to get like an overview, a good idea of how many of us are in middle school. Raise your hand, please. Higher. All right. How many of us are in high school? All right. And I'm sure there's somebody in elementary school. Never too early to get started. Anybody in elementary? Okay, I see some hands. All right. So I just wanted to speak, and I think the first two speakers kind of like spoke a little bit about what I wanted to say. So like you heard, my name is Grace. I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a technologist. I've been in technology the last 20 plus years. I'm also a member of Kipna, so good to see you all. But really my passion, I really like to talk to people about the high school journey. So a little bit about my story. I think when I was 19 years old, I was kind of like a little bit like Joy, transitioned. You know, that's middle of high school, middle school, you don't know what you're doing. So I kind of feel what she went through, right? So for me, I finished high school in Kenya. I came here. My parents didn't have money for college or whatever, so guess what? I went back to high school. I did 1 year of high school here, which actually was a good experience. It introduced me to the American culture, to introduce me to schooling in America, and actually got a high school diploma. So yay! Y'all can clap for me. Come on. So this was back in the days. I'm not a Gen Z, but so the reason I say that is so when you understand my journey, you understand what where I come from and why I'm so passionate about it. So when I came here, like all my high school credits transferred, and I was able to, I was way like past my credits. I had more than enough credits, right? But Being proactive, find out what they need to do, because sometimes you find the child has graduated and the parents like, oh, I didn't know supposed to do that, you know? So be prepared, scholarships, all those things that I'm all talking about. I want to go fast because they talked about a lot of those things. But that's really what I wanted to talk about. If you're in middle school, somebody please allow me to share. If you're in middle school, you're good. You have a head start, right? But middle school doesn't mean you need to sleep. Middle school is where you start developing that muscle, the muscle of discipline, the muscle of doing your homework, the muscle of consistency. If you're in high school, please get on it. Like Sean was saying, right? Don't sleep in class, because all those things that you think are time wasters or they don't matter, they really do matter, because that muscle, that's the muscle you're gonna need. Thank you. You're gonna need when you get to you're gonna need when you get to college, right? So what better way to start practicing than in high school, right? So I want to talk a little about the high school journey. So whatever grade you're in, what should you be doing at whatever time, right? Again, just to remind you, high school is it's not just something to get through. Like for me, when I was in high school, I wanted to finish and get to college. When I was in college, I wanted to finish and get to work. But now I'm working, I'm like, oh God, I miss my high school days. You know? So everybody has a different path, whether you're going to trade school. Nowadays, trade school is a very lucrative thing. Military, college, whatever. Start thinking about that. A lot of kids I've seen nowadays, you graduate, you're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What are you good at? I don't know. You know? Start thinking about those things. You know yourself, you know your strengths, you know what you're good at, you know what. Talk to people. You know, that's why we have events like these. Start doing the research. You know, you're on the internet, all that. Start doing the research. Freshman year, even in high school, I know Joy and Sean, they talked about college, but even in high school, you guys have campuses, you have student council, you have all
some pay for volunteer work, some pay for actual essays and stuff, and that's a lot of money that goes back because we're not good at essays. We don't write those essays, and sometimes they're very interesting scholarships out there. But to your question, yes, you can apply as early as you can, but look for what type. There's some that are very specific on commission. So if it's something about an essay or an experience or just volunteer hours, then volunteer and get paid that way.
And they're both public and private scholarships, right? The government scholarships is the one you have to apply at FAFSA, right? That's a federal application, whatever. For student aid, it's a federal application, right? There's also private scholarships, right? I know like SMU have a scholarship just for leadership. Like if you're a leader, you at a certain organization or whatever, you can get a scholarship for that. There are private scholarship companies. Parents, check your company where you work. Some of them give, it could be $1,000, it could be $2,000. That's money, right? And it really does add up. Check private scholarships. When you talk to the counselor, ask them, hey, are there any scholarships in your department? For example, if you're going to the finance department, there's scholarships that are department based. So there's so many different. I think you just have to do research.
Can you join ROTC and to go to military school?
Yeah, ROTC is not military school. ROTC is a military club on the school, right? So they just it's kind of like when Kenya we used to have Boy Scouts, Boy Scouts and Girl Guides, something like that, right? So it's a club at school. So, but they tell you a little bit about the military, what to prepare for, what to expect, and then also they do have like military recruiting officers that come on campus. You can ask them questions. They can talk to them more about it.
Right. Thank you. So let's take a few minutes, 2 minutes break. Let's grab a break, stretch, stand up, make sure that the blood is flowing.
It's going.
Umeleta familia watu wengi hapa.
Asinu models. Kauliza swali wa red.
Wewe si wewe.
Si mimi. Hata mimi baadaye niko sasa. I might want to branch into it. Ikapo. Hata nashangaa huwa Facebook yake na nini hapa?
Na branch wa.
Na kuna muziki.
Waweke muziki.
Kuna muziki hapa. Otherwise,
Yuko bana.
uko na kitu after hii ama?
Alright.
Daddy, is mentors supposed to be coding too, or is this the coding?
What?
Is this the coding place?
Yeah.
Where?
They're not coding though. Say hi.
Are you a DJ?
He used to want to, then he stopped.
I mean, a DJ for his laptop.
But you can DJ?
Nah, he can't DJ. You can? He listens to funny music, so I don't know about DJ. He's an anime. Album ameanza alafu nilishinda nikimstopisha akaachana nayo story.
Kuda kwa kamera hii.
Oh.
Unanimulika.
Mambo.
Unafanya IT?
IT gani?
Yako ni IT. Naona kuna Ethernet cable hapo, HDMI. Yote ni IT.
Unabla msumbuka hapo na nani wa professional?
You see it. In the audio.
Actually, you are, yeah, 90%, yeah. Well, you know, done the exam. I'm done. Actually, I'm done. I did two. Failed one.
Right?
So now can everybody let's take our seats. Let's take our seats. Please.
Come.
And group, take your seats.
No, I'm not.
Right, I hope everybody has stretched. All right. Everybody, Kipna members, are you here? Kipna members, are you here? Kipna members, are you here?
Yes.
I can't hear you. I hear some noises coming from that corner. All right. So Grace, Savannah, hold that corner, make sure it's quiet. And Grace, hold that corner, make sure it's quiet. Okay? So let's continue here. So I was listening to the speakers today, and I couldn't help but wonder, at what point did I know what I wanted to be when I grow up? I know we have some the older generation here in the house. When they used to ask me when I was growing up, we had 3 answers. Only 3 answers. Who can tell me the first answer? All right, yes. That was the first answer. And the second? Teacher. That's the first time I've had teacher. Lawyer. Lawyer was number 2. I'm hearing pilot here. Which other one do you used to say? Engineer. So we didn't even know what engineering was. We didn't know. We just knew doctors, you were sick, they treat you. Engineers, I didn't know what engineers used to do, but I just knew in one way or another I want to be an engineer someday. But you guys are lucky that you're in America, whereby you can dream and say, I want to be a musician. That's to us, that stayed there. It used to be a dream, it stays in the dreamland. But today, nowadays, you guys can dream big and actually actualize it. Our next speaker of the day is going to be Mr. Melnick Evans. Believe it or not, he's a Kenyan. Yeah, I don't know why the names are difficult like this, but you will understand why he had to pick a tough name. He's a Kenyan astrophysics senior at Columbia University. Astrophysics, I don't know who here understands what that is. Me, I don't. But he's doing serious things with his life, it looks like. So he has a passion of space and science, research and education, and empowering young people. His research journey has taken him from studying stars and using data from James Webb Telescope to investigating the surfaces of icy walls, including Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. You know, Jupiter is one of the planets, right? So, beyond his academic achievement, he's deeply committed in mentorship and education and community leadership. He's passionate about how
helping young people navigate academic and professional opportunities and encouraging them to see possibilities beyond what may seem immediately within reach. Today, he's going to share his journey, the lessons learned, and what continues to inspire him to dream big. Mr. Melvin, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Melvin. I am a rising student at Columbia. Okay, I'm going to sing it because maybe because
Microphone. Microphone.
yes, microphone.
We're gonna mute.
Thanks so much. I'm sorry.
All right, can you speak there? Yeah, anybody here? Look at mute. Please not me. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'm a senior at Columbia. I study astrophysics. I intend to do a minor in AI this semester because I finished all my requirements. And today I'm just going to share with you guys about my whole journey, how I got into astrophysics, how I ended up even to the point where this summer I was in Houston, interning with NASA. But yeah, so first of all, unlike the previous speakers who ended up figuring out what they wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to do at 9 years old. I remember I used to watch a lot of space-related cartoons, and I was very interested in how things work, and then I started watching a bunch of the spacewalks, moon landings, Discovery Family, Discovery Channel, and I became very intrigued with this whole idea about space, the moon, stars, and how everything works. And therefore, I think I remember at that time I just told my dad, I was like, dude, I'm going to be an astrophysicist at NASA one day. And then my dad was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but cool. Let's go to be an astrophysicist at NASA. And I remember at that time he carried me, put me in his lab. We Googled, at least we are really tough at the time. So we Googled how to be an astrophysicist at NASA, and I knew the classes I had to take in high school. I was like, when I go to high school, I have to take physics and chemistry and geography, make sure I have straight A's. And so yeah, that was the plan. And I think from that point on, I just kept telling everyone, like, everyone loves me, what do you want to be? I'd be like, I'm going to be an astrophysicist. And also, no one knew, because I was back from Kenya, because that was in primary school, middle school, I did everything in Kenya. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do, but then I would ask, okay, what do you want to do? I'm going to be an astrophysicist. Where are you going to work? Because that's the whole idea that, especially the people who are, at least our parents, they usually understand stability. For human beings, we usually say things that we understand, things that we know, things that we've seen work. And that's why I think the first people were talking about how they only know about being doctors, they only know about being lawyers. And I think this was something that was very hard to preach. But I think I had that passion, I had that drive. I was like, this is something I want to pursue, this is something I would go forward and work with for myself. And so I finished primary school, so I was in international school, so the path was much clearer when I was in the international school. But then life happened, and then I ended up going back to public school in Kenya. So in public school, I was like, okay, what is this going to happen? How is this going to work? Because in the international school, I knew that, again, my grades are good, so if I finished, I would probably graduate early and probably be able to study abroad and do astrophysics. But then I came back to public school, and right now, how is this going to work? And I finished my primary school, and then I went to high school in Kenya. And at this point, I was really struggling in my mind because I want to do astrophysics, harder, try new things. And I think it's a very important thing that I think I would even say right now to most of you here is that don't be scared to do something that is hard. Because everything is hard. Everything is hard. You just feel hard. So don't be scared to put yourself in an uncomfortable position and pursue that hard thing. Because you never know. You never know. So for me, that was my mindset. I always been someone who wants to try new things. And so when I was in high school, I was trying to figure out, if I finished high school, what did I do? I had no idea what to do. So I was like, okay, because I was working hard and I needed to take things to so this is an answer. So I was pushing myself, working hard. I was very active in high school. Not only with my grades, but also with my activities for very close. I was in a fairly large school in Western Kenya, and I was very active. I think my first 2 years of high school, when things weren't as hard, really, I was very active in terms of putting myself out there, joining clubs, starting new clubs. Because I think one thing is, again, we need to be trendsetters. The fact that you're in this position, you should not be scared to try something anyway. If you have something that you wanna try and you wanna put it out there, just go for it. For the most part, these schools, especially even here in the US, people will be willing to support you towards your dream. So for me, I was very active in school. I was in the science and engineering club. I was doing projects. I was in the math club. I was in the St. John's Ambulance Club. I was in the Red Cross Club. I was just in every single club, and I was just exploring these new ideas, trying to gain skills, get active, connect with people, but also making sure I'm balancing out my schoolwork. So set aside like 2 hours, 3 hours each evening for my club activities, and then in the evening at night, focusing on my studies. If we're having competitions, that's putting in a bit more time. In the evenings, so I actually work on my projects, but most of the time, my studying was my main drive. That is what I went to school to study. So I'm studying, but in as much as I had all these extracurriculars, I ensured that my studying was also there. I think one thing that people usually struggle with is how to balance it too, because you're actively working. You have this skill, let's say you play basketball, and you end up losing too much time in your basketball, you end up forgetting that you have new studies. And then that's when sometimes you get issues with your parents, because it's like, this thing is taking you away from the thing that brought you to school, So I think it's important also right now as we are to learn to balance the two years. Balance your school stuff, but also balance your extracurriculars, and find a good point where you're getting benefits of both. And this is very important, especially in the United States, applying for college, applying for university. Those are very important aspects of the schools look for. So, did that in high school, finished. So I was among the top in the country in the national examinations, pushing forward. And I think after I graduated, I was like, so what in high school I was thinking about, let me do medicine. Because staying in Kenya, I decided I was going to do medicine. But then you had the grades. Going to my school, doing medicine, and I also had the passion of learning new things. So use that passion to go to medicine and then become a doctor, and after a doctor, do also basically in life. And I think one thing that is also something important to also think about. Sometimes you might want to delay certain things because they might, at this point in time, you're not able to achieve them. So it's important that you need to have that flexibility to delay your dream so that you're schools abroad in various parts of the world, in the US, in Europe, in other parts of Africa, in Asia, and the goal was to help you apply in order to get 100% financial aid. First of all, because your grades are good, as long as your grades are good, usually the financial aid part should not be a huge struggle figuring out. Now you only have to focus on your essays. So I get that, but in the program they told us to join our local universities before we get to, just in case you don't get into school, because again, you can get rejected at school. So I joined med school in Kenya. I was in med school for my first 2 semesters. It was a trimester type of thing, so my second trimester, I was in med school and I was on time, and that was hard. Med school is hard. It's hard, especially because it's just a lot of information that they're giving you within a very short period of time. And so I was there doing this, but also trying to apply to schools abroad, and I applied to Yale for my early decision, and then they rejected me. And I was like, yes, what is this? I think that was very hard. The rejections are very tough. Because every time you're trying to do something and it's like, nope, you're going to start questioning yourself. You're trying to do something, you're trying to understand something, and you're like, what is happening? This is hard, I can't get this. So you're trying to apply to something and not taking you in. But I think I'm so grateful for the support I had from my friends and from my family. I was able to go through that and continue applying. And then we got into one. And then we got into Colombia. And ended up getting to Colombia. I got elected to Colombia. And I got 100% financial aid at Colombia. So my parents they never know. No, I guess they usually get statements about the amount of money they're supposed to pay parents, but they don't even know how that money comes from. Because again, I did the work in high school, and the work that I did in high school is paying for that. That is what it's, they cover everything. They cover, so when I apply from tennis to here, they cover my house, they cover, and my parents don't even think about. The only thing I think about me is that, are you sick? Are you eating well? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so I think it's, yeah, after I finished that, I came and I did, and my dream is what I said, pursuing astrophysics. It's tough. It's hard, especially in the higher education environment, because everyone is an overachiever, just like you. Push hard, everyone is doing that, and the curriculum is very intense, but I think it's, again, that drive comes in as you see other people doing well around you, people who are, you surround yourself with people who are thinking about things that are out of reach. It changes who you are, and it also pushes you to work harder. Obviously, there's really those points where you feel like you're an imposter with this, like you're not capable of doing this, but I'm also grateful for the people that I surround myself with. That happened. Then my first year, I went to Paris for study abroad, and then I did a program in Kenya, a space education program where with the help of one of my friends that I met in Colombia, and we were able to bring in an astronaut and speak to some kids in Kenya, which was amazing. And then I came back, and then last summer I was and I got the opportunity, I got my first internship. I applied to so many, got rejected, all of them except for that one. And I which surround yourself really matter. I think you heard Joy speak earlier when she said she's grateful about the friends that she had around her who are telling her, oh, you're encouraging her not to give up, not to let this dream go to die. No, let's not let this dream die. I would say the same for you guys. Surround yourself with people. With your friends, actually, you will be people who close to you. With your friends telling you, no, I heard that course is, I heard that what meter is hard. No, I'm not gonna do it. And then you're like, okay, maybe you should also not do it because it's gonna be hard because half of them inside you. You're not the same person. You have two different people with different paths, and you might have the potential to do much better, but you decide to listen to your friends. It's not anything like your parents. But that is also careful. You need to be careful with that. You need to take whatever your parents are telling you with to heart, because they've been through this time. But as long as if it's something encouraging you, that is, if it's something encouraging you towards to better yourself, please, I would encourage you to push yourself further, to hold, don't let people go close to you, go do that. If it's not something that's going to benefit you. But yeah, take out the grain of salt, but I would encourage you to push yourself, be careful the type of things that you hear from other people. Take everything and process it and ensure that it's something that you're going to use to push yourself towards a goal. That is something that you're going to use that is going to help you, encourage you to go forward for whatever you want to achieve. But again, if you have a dream and this is something that you feel like is going to help you in the future, and the people around you are encouraging you, I'm discouraging you, please hold on. I think if for me, if I decide to listen to the people telling me you never find a place to work in astrophysics, what we need with astrophysics in this country, I think I would have missed out on a lot of the opportunities that I'm getting right now. So again, for the people who already know they want to do, tell people they do. Convince them, tell them this is why I want to go into this. But some people don't understand. Sometimes it's just people not understanding what you want to do. And I think being able to, first of all, you understand what you want to do, and then be able to try to go about it, so that they can see the vision, they can see what you're trying to do, and then I'll work towards that goal and encourage yourself. And so that as soon as they understand it, it will be easier for them to encourage you to do it. Because if someone doesn't understand what you're doing, it's harder for them to support you with it, because they have no idea what you're doing. But if you understand what you're doing and you're able to explain to them, and they understand what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve, it becomes easier for them to support you, because they're like, oh, this is what they're trying to do, and let's support them in this. Even if you're a parent, they'll be like, oh, my child wants to be a doctor, and this is something that they've been talking about. I can encourage them towards this, and they can be able to support you in any way that you need. And for those people who don't know, I think just explore, be open-minded, learn new things. Don't be scared to learn, to try new things. Don't be scared to try new ideas. Even for those people who already know what you want, don't be scared to try new ideas, because sometimes your mind can change. We're not fixed on one thing. At least for me, it was something I had to realize, oh, I can also do medicine, just in case this doesn't happen, this doesn't work for me. So be open-minded, try new things, go explore. Your parents might be doing something and you're asking if you tried something new, try it and see how it goes for you, how you like it, and it will make your life much easier. There's something I want to address. I think there's this guy who asked about if they play the bass and they would like to put, how would they put that in the application. I think I think the drums at church, I also put that in my application. So one day they had a whole section for music, and I talked about how I play drums and how I work in a team with another band, with other musicians in the band, how I work, all the things that go around that, and you can use that to your advantage. Even the small things that you do at home can really make a difference within your application, and create a huge impact that can take you places you've never been to. there's a downside to staying in school. School is beneficial. School is beneficial. It opens your mind. You get to meet new people. Stay in school. Stay in school. Study. Work hard. Please don't. The effort is worth it. The effort that you put in your studies is worth it. I can speak. I'm a testament to that. There are people who are like, oh, you can see a lot of things on social media who are thriving without education. And that's okay, that's their part. But it doesn't mean that the education is not important. And that's the reason why your parents take you to school. That's the reason why your parents ask you to stay in school. That's what they encourage you to study. It's worth it. It's worth it. You never go wrong with an education. Never. Never. You might not use it, but maybe life changes or whatever, you might not use it. That's a whole different story. But at the end of the day, the baseline, you will never go wrong with that. And if you do wrong, then again, scholarships are there. The need-based aid schools, need-line schools. Don't be scared to shoot for the IVs. Don't be scared to shoot for a school that has a 3% acceptance rate. Don't be scared to shoot for a school that has a 2% plus acceptance rate. As long as you put in the effort, yeah, you've got this. And yeah, again, I think what I can say in conclusion, I believe in you guys. I think the fact that you're here, that means if you came here alone, you were with someone who brought you here, it means that they see the potential that you have and the amount of that you're able to achieve. And yeah, thank you for listening to me.
It's my cousin. From school. So,
how to do it is being in constant communication, being constant support, talking about the issue. I think the more we talk about the problem, the easier it becomes to even encourage them to speak up, check up on them, remind them of their potential. I think sometimes things get hard and we end up forgetting how much we're capable of doing. We know in this bubble, we always think it's a problem. So I think encouraging us as the kids that, there's so much more you're able to achieve, there's so much more. And also you helping us to see new ways of how to approach the problem would be great. Concerning the difference between online and physical classes, I think physical classes, I would encourage more physical. If you go online, it's very convenient and it helps, especially if you're a busy life. It's much easier in that sense. But the discussions are there. I think with in person it becomes much easier to have with one-on-one conversations with the teachers, with the professors, and reach out have problems, which first of all increases your connections. It can open doors for new opportunities. And also the fact that you immerse yourself into how is the teacher behaving around there. Sometimes there's certain things that teachers do within the board that help with the retention. So it becomes easier within those settings. You guys, like for my school, we have office hours now. Not online, there's our office hours, but I think going that one-on-one and seeing. Doing the same thing. collaborative spaces. I think part of me wants to go, at some point, go back and start my own thing. Actually, in the process of doing that, I'm working on a project that, once it gets ready, it should be out there soon. That's where let's see. It's not going to be easy. I'm working towards it. Right now, I'm dealing with graduating and projects. Hopefully, that's what let's see. But yeah, I'm very interested in how artificial intelligence can be incorporated in stuff we learn, different rovers or different whatever methods that we're learning on different planets. We're able to identify, or even just what process called classification stuff. So that's what most of the applications are in artificial intelligence. And yeah, so just here, it's what we use. And I think it's very important, especially again, also to go into AI because again, everything is going into that. The future is, no matter how much we disagree with it, the future is.
Thank you for answering our questions. I did understand half of the things. I don't know if I was alone. Tell us, who start from? No, you already spoke. Never mind. Tell us your name and which grade you are and what you are supposed to do. You are pushing up. You see what interest. One more person. Let's go. Jules wants to be an engineer. All right. One more person has already setting up here. You know, when I was growing up, if I tell you guys what I wanted to be, let me go to a grown up. One grown up first. One grown up. This guy here. What do you want to be when you grow up, and what are you now?
When I grew up, I wanted to be a pilot. Right now, I'm business continuity.
From pilot to business continuity. He's also a DJ here.
Wewe ni DJ, sema ukweli.
All right, Mr. Ray, close it.
Make sure you get some water, snacks for the video. This is all for you.
Okay. All right, can you hear me now? Okay. All right, so my name is Ray Makasi. I'm a cybersecurity consultant. I've been in IT for 10, 15 years. I pivoted over to cybersecurity about 6 or 7 years ago. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever had an idea or something that you're thinking about in your mind, right? You're thinking, I got this, I understand it. But have you ever had an issue with explaining it to somebody? Show of hands. A great idea, right? In your mind, you got it squared, you know, but when it comes to explaining it to somebody, and it will look like it's techy, but I'll explain it. So what cybersecurity engineers say, so, and that's what, this is a skill that you need to learn in high school, in college, in your career, then we've communicated and he understands that. So why are we sharing this? So some studies have been done, and what they're finding now is employers, business owners are moving into skill-based hiring. What that means is, so rather than, when you get all the skills that you go to school, and then when you come to interviews, you're trying to explain yourself why you should get hired, rather than explaining, these are the tools, I've been using this and that tool, explain the impact it does. Another challenge that we've seen, but it's good news, employers rate communication as essential, but they're saying that new grads still have room to improve. What does that mean? That means that this is a skill that you can teach yourself. You can read books. You can share when you go to conferences or when you're spending time with the other colleagues or your friends. Learn to explain things in a simpler way that they understand. And that will give you tools or give you that mindset to be able to explain hard things. That way you're able to communicate. Then the other thing is tech and human. AI, right now we're in the AI era, cybersecurity, tech literacy is rising. But there's the other side too. There's a human aspect. There's leadership, there's creativity, there's resilience, and there's lifelong learning. So if you want to succeed in the careers, if you want to succeed in college, if you want to succeed in in the projects in school, learn to get into leadership. Volunteer in places so that you learn to communicate with people, join clubs, theater. That way you're able to learn to express yourself so that you can communicate. All right, so, and there's three things that you can share that will help you in this. Whenever you want to explain something that's hard, one thing that you can ask yourself is, so what, right? You know it, right? But how are you going to communicate that to the other person? So what does it mean to the business that, exfiltration has happened? What does it mean that it's hard? What does it mean to the business? When you explain that, to the business is going to lose money, right? They're going to go out of business. People are going to lose jobs. That's the impact that you're explaining. And that's what I'm trying to let you know. So if you're able to communicate, learn to communicate your findings, learn to communicate what you're learning and explain it to other people, that way you'll communicate and you'll make an impact. Then, of course, the third one I mentioned earlier, this is one sentence that a 12-year-old gets. So if a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old cannot explain it back to you, that means that you're not making an impact or you're not communicating. All right, so these are another examples. For example, one we have is AI. So the model predicts change. What does that mean? In an easier way to explain it is, it's helping our customers, if this is a business, it's helping our customers spot when they're likely to not shop, or if they're trying to buy something and they leave the shopping cart without buying anything. That's what it explains. When it comes to cybersecurity, right? The cybersecurity field. So when you tell somebody, use MFA, okay, yes, you've told me that, but what does that mean to the business? It's just telling them, in security, if you want to secure yourself, it's a layered approach. There is the password. If somebody takes your password, they'll still need a second form of security to be able to access the system. And finally, we have reduced latency. What does that mean? That means that, in this case for a business, customers are trying to wait less and, that they've left the app without So, you guys have been listening to me. Let's use some illustration. Can I have an adult? Someone who has a business? Anyone with a business? Okay. Do you mind standing here? Okay, and can I get someone in college or high school? Just real quick. It's nothing, it's not gonna be yeah, thank you. Come on. Thank you.
She gets $50 gift card for volunteering.
Just for volunteering. Okay, so my question to you is, so she has a business, right? You are, let's say for example now, you're an IT cybersecurity engineer. How can you explain to them that phishing has happened to their email that you have? Exactly. So if you're coming in, right, as a professional and you're trying to explain to her who has a business, that your business, your email, you're trying to be fished, and you're not able to tell it to her, you're not able to explain it to her, you're not able to make an impact, right? That's what I'm trying to see. Another example. You can have a seat. All right. Another one. I'll skip the AI machine learning. Cloud storage. Can anybody explain cloud storage without using tech words? Anyone? Space. Space. Okay.
Kind of like you said, like, how much, if you save like stuff to your device, you can use it on others.
One more question. Thank you. So if you're able to explain that to, and these examples I'm giving is, I'm under the assumption that I'm already an IT person, and you're trying to explain it to a business owner, you're trying to explain it to your parents. So when you get to know hard things, or for example, tech, and you're able to explain it to, for example, your parents or any other person, and you're able to communicate, that you've reached your goal. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'll give you some homework, right? So this week, explain your favorite app to your parent without explaining the name. Explain what it does, right? If you're able to explain it to your parents or to your friends how it works, you'll be able to practice more communication. Another way you can use is, especially if you have a project in school, right? Record a 60-second explanation to the school for one project, then watch it back. If it makes sense to you, if it makes sense to your siblings, then you're good to go. So your goal here is to be clear enough that someone can repeat the idea back to you. And that means you've communicated, you've made your goal, the idea has been passed on to that person. So in summary, if you want to communicate, if you want to do well in your projects in school, if you have a job interview that's coming up and you want to explain to the recruiter why I need this job, and any other example, you can use this. You ask yourself, so what? I have this knowledge, but how does it make an impact? How does it make an impact to the business? And then if you're able to explain it to a 12-year-old and they understand it, it means that any other person can get that information. All right? So being simple, when you understand a tough topic and you're able to explain it to other people, it means that you know That's what I wanted to share. So learn tech and practice translation. Any questions?
Any questions for Zoe? And then, so dance, yes. Quick announcement. And the form is just to kind of gauge whether interests us or we can better plan the future. And as you were asking about interest, when happens and James come and set up, you cannot hear me, really? You want me to shout? When happens and James come and speak on a very important topic as he's setting up, I would say this. We are not very good at networking. When I say we, I sound included. Learn how to network. The network is your network. So, and that this applies for everybody. James, whenever you look at this group, this applies for everybody. Get to know people who are not in space, get to know people who are not in the communities, because you never know what you're going to need when you get there. So that's what I think. Right?
Dennis.
Yes, sir.
To your point about networking, as he sets up, can everybody turn to the person on the left and right, shake their hand, look them straight in the eye, and tell them my name is so and so, and this is my grade.
So basically, introduce yourself to somebody who you did not know before you came here, because some people are sitting next to their parents and introducing themselves to their parents. You do not want that. We do not want that. Get to know somebody you don't know before you came here. Trust you, that's going to take you places. Technology. How is it IT people don't know how to set up the IT stuff?
Mr. Phil, thank you very much for the service.
Oh, Mr. Rasul is going to talk to you guys. What would I say about this?
Well, I think James is very good. I just wanted to add up the grade. This will take 2 minutes. As somebody who interviewed him and just asked me, what do you do, Russ? Then I'll tell you what I do, and then that's curiosity. That's a skill you need to have. I spoke to a few young people last week, and another one is communication that Ray has covered. Critical thinking. Because many of you know, at least 200,000, that would be the debt. Because many of you know, at least 200,000, that would be the debt you must, and you can avoid that with the debt you must, and you can avoid that with a 3-4 year commitment. Another thing I just bring is a 3-4 year commitment. Another thing I just bring is integrity and judgment. Please, just be, I know middle school, somebody asked about
Funding, okay, yes, you get a loan, okay, good. So, what helps you get a loan? How can the bank? You're going to be defining credit scores, okay, what it is, and what factors influence your credit scores. The types and ranges of the different scores, okay. So, what is a credit score? Anybody want to volunteer to define a credit score? Yes? Say again? Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. So it's score that is a numerical rating that represents a person's credit worthiness. So how likely are you to be able to pay back the money the bank lends you, or the lender lends you on time and not default? So what are our 3 points here? That numerical score ranges between 300 to 850. So which is a good score? 300 or 850? 850, perfect. So you want your score to be as high as possible. Now, how do you get the score to be as high as possible? Okay, you don't talk about that later. But this score is used by the lenders. They look at what is called a credit file, and they determine, based on your historical, how well you are able to pay your debt. Now, most people don't know, but used to buy insurance. So if you buy a car and you want to get insurance, they check your credit score because there's a correlation between people who have bad scores and being high risk in terms of getting accidents. So if you want your insurance premiums to be lower, you want your credit score to be higher. Okay. What are the factors that influence your credit score? We have payment history, yes. Here. I'll ask a question about that shortly. We have payment history, we have amounts owed, we have length of history, credit mix, and new credit. Okay, so we have 5 of them. Now, question here. First person to answer the question will get something. Okay, so on the kids only. Out of these 5 factors, which one is the most impactful? Yes. Payment history. Good. Do you have a different answer? No. Okay. So that was the first person to answer the question. Okay. So the payment history accounts for 35% of your credit score. Okay? So you want to make sure your payment history is good, you pay on time, you don't delay. Because every time you don't pay, it goes on your credit card, collects on your credit card. The amount owed accounts for second. So it accounts for 30% of your credit score. So if you owe a lot of money, your credit score goes down. It is based on what your credit limit is. If you're very close to the age of the maximum, your score significantly goes down. Okay? The next one is the left. And then they say credit mix. Okay? So what does credit mix mean? What are the different types of credit? Anybody? Yes? Debit? Okay. Actually. Lastly, we also look at the credit, new credit. So if you apply for credit, they check to see how recently you apply for this credit. A mark goes on your file, so that somebody else coming to look will also see that you applied for credit. Doesn't care whether you got it or not, but that goes into your file. So be careful. If you're applying for credit, don't make so many applications of Russia. Now, what do we need to do? We have already spoken about paying bills on time. You want to, anybody? It's another name for credit card. Okay, so you get your money in a credit card, you get your credit mix that you have, and then you pay it back. It is available for you to use the following month. Okay, that's what we call revolving. Okay, so it's just another fancy word for the credit card. Now, the last one there is you want to pay more than the minimum. So when you get a credit card, you get a limit. Let's say you have $1,000, and you have say used $500. The bank does not require you to pay the whole 500. They tell you this is your balance. You are required to pay the minimum balance, which might be $100. Okay? So you don't want to only pay the minimum because it will carry over the balance to the following month. If you get into that habit, you will pay forever in a day. Okay? So you want to pay more than the minimum so that you can clear that debt. You also avoid paying interest. Now, there is something called a credit report. Okay? Anybody can get a credit report. And you can take a look at it to see what the banks will be seeing when you apply for credit. When you apply for credit, the bank pulls your credit report and they look at it. So you can be able to look at it yourself and see what the bank will see. You can see if it's a good report or if it's a bad report. It has 4 sections. requires the personal information, your details of address, social security number, date of birth, etc. Then the second section is your credit history. That's where you have all open credit accounts, all closed accounts, any of those that are in default, any that you have been late, it appears in that section. And then number 3 is public records, which is where you never want to be in the credit report. So these are things like you failed to pay your debt and collection agencies came after you. Okay? Collection agencies are also called debt collectors. They come chasing you to get their money back. And if you can't get hold of you, but they get hold of you, they still record that information in your file. And that reflects very badly on you on your file. It also includes other things like foreclosures, lawsuits, if you have been sued, if you have failed to pay your taxes, it may also show there. Okay. Last one, credit inquiries. So every time you make a request for credit, that goes into that section. They record that so on such and such a date, so and so made an inquiry, they wanted the loan, car loan, a student loan, a mortgage, whatever. It was in there. Now, how much does a credit report cost? Yeah? How much? Zero. Okay? There are some reports that you can pay for if you want to pay for them, but the government allows you or has mandated all the credit reference bureaus to provide you with an annual credit report free of charge. They won't give it to you unless you ask for it. Okay? So the key thing here is to request for it. Annualcreditreport.com. Okay, take a note of that. You can go in there, request for the credit report, and be able to look at it yourself. It's free. Every year you can get one copy from each of the bureaus. So you can get 3 reports every year for free and be able to review them. What does the score say about lenders? Again, as I said, it ranges from 300 to 850. If you're up there in the top, you are considered exceptional. You apply for credit, you will be approved in 30 seconds, 15 seconds. If you are around here, most likely you will be denied. Okay? Or if you are somewhere around here, you'll probably get the credit you're looking for, but at a higher interest rate. Okay? So interest rates depend on your credit score. So you want to be somewhere between exceptional and good, okay, or very good. Actually, you want to be in those 2 sections. Okay? And there are 3 credit score bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So all these report about your credit utilization. Which score does your lender use? Lenders can use any of them. Purchasing a car, they may only use one of them. If you're going for a mortgage, they most likely look at all 3 of them. But the information in them typically matches with some minor differences. Are there other scores? Yes. Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, NAV, NerdWallet, Mint, etc. They can give you a score. Are these the scores that the banks use? No. These are only meant to give you the ability to review and see how well you are utilizing your credit, how well you are doing, but it is not the scores that the banks use. What do the banks use? They use something called a FICO score. FICO is short for Fair Isaac Corporation. It is the one that came up with that algorithm for assessing your score. That's the industry standard that the banks use. So these other scores that I mentioned, they're not used by lenders. They only process your credit worthiness. But FICO scores are general purpose credit scores. they know, they have no way of knowing how good you are at trading, right? Now, when you were young like this, you cannot get a credit card, right? Yeah? So they can't be able to know how well you have been paid. Okay? So how can you build your credit score? Anybody have any idea? Yes? Sorry? Job history? Good answer. Not quite. Yes? Through your parents' credit. Okay? That's great answer. Okay? So if you're a parent and you have good credit score, you can add a child as an authorized user on your card. They don't have to use the card. Okay? You can add them as a user. They can ride on your good credit and build their credit score. You get that card, cut it in half, throw it away. Okay? So it's not yours. Okay? And they will be able to build their credit score so that when the time comes to apply for a student loan or other auto loan or whatever, they have a head start. They can be able to have, they already have a score. How old do you have to be added to parents' credit card? 16, 17, anybody else? Yes? 15, anybody else? 13? Anyone else? Yeah? Any age? Any age? Perfect. Okay? So you can be added to a parent's credit card from age 0.001 up to the time when you are an adult. Okay? So as soon as a child is born, you can add them to your credit card as an authorized user. They start building their credit score. Okay? But important is you want to make sure that bonuses and claim assets. A lot of people have money that they can website where you can look if you have some money. Okay? So take note of this. Just go in there and put in your name. Yes. Just go in there and put in your name. KUNGU. 1U. You are who you are. Okay? So I'm the owner. And then you put in your details, you ask you for information. Once you provide that information, you submit. You can claim property management. Want to get the website? Yes. It's open, but if you want to build your credit, okay, get the card and carry a small balance, even if it's $1. Okay, so carry a balance of $1 and pay it off as soon as you get. Taking a loan and immediately paying it back. Yeah, if you pay it back, your credit score increases. If you take the loan, your credit clearly just has stopped being reported to your partner. So they could still come after you and get for the debt.
That's the reason we have to step away from tech and kind of teach life skills. That's it. Questions about anything and everything. Why does my heart say getting upside down as a question? Ask me a question. I'm gonna start calling out people. DJ for more. Oh, you got a question?
So he's asking the website that I showed, if kids can go on it, will it show the kids? Kids can go on it, okay? But you likely don't have anything that might not find your name there.
He's trying to find out if he has any money somewhere he can play. Anybody
No,
know
I'm going in there and trying and checking. You might find your parents' money that they didn't know they have, and they'll think you're really smart, so they might do you something.
Like what you do?
Get that money.
Okay, so he's asking how do you get the money, or how does the parent get the money? They can claim on the money. There's a button there. They short. You click the button, claim, you provide details, and they verify you. Once they verify, they will send the change to your parent. So the question is, how do you know you have the money or you get the money so they don't scam you? There are two ways. One, either during the claim, they'll ask you where to send the money. They may send it directly to your bank account, or they might send you a physical check, a paper check, which you can then mark in the bank.
So, I know some people are leaving. We have a lot of snacks, we have drinks, we have mandazis. And please pick up your trash, put it there on the way out. But we are still here. And Philip, you want to close it?
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming. So, we are hosting. Our name is Kipna for the youth. Who knows what Kipna stands for? The first person gets a gift card. You gotta say it right.
Indian IT professionals in Macau.
There you go.
All right.
All right. So we're about 229, 28 members. So in this room we had about 50 people. So imagine 4 times or maybe 5 times the amount of people in this room are doing IT. So if you want to do something in science and technology, we are doing it. You just don't see us out there. And our purpose here is to give you an opportunity to know that you have representation and to encourage you to chase your dreams and you can do it. Apart from that, for all the people who presented online and physically, we really appreciate your time. Ask, and we can pass the mic around to address any questions you may have. Any questions? Yes.
Because we assume what you want to know or what you want to present or what I hear back from you guys. Whether it's now or later, whether it's to me, whoever, just tell us what we did. That's all good. Have you tell us? I'm here. You want to tell me right now?
So to answer your question,
She's asking if you have anybody who works in pharmacy. So that's a few you know. No, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead to mom because we don't mentor kids by themselves. That's a rule we have had for years. So if she needs information, mom has to get it out for 20%. I'll be listening. Yes, sir.
that's good feedback.
You said what?
Technology was a big issue.
Oh, wait. This guy used to be the chairman of Kipna at some point. And he's here complaining. And it's okay. No, any other complaint? No, we need that. We need that. We need that.
Question. So we tend to do this in August, right about this time. Is this right? Do you want this in June or July? Is the timing just
before you answer that question, let me ask it another way. If we do this event in June, is it okay if we do it also in June, at the end of the summer? Now we can capture people who are not available. Will that work? Now, when you answer that question, you're going to get involved. Because we need money for the event. No, donation.
No, we're not going to put the money up. We want to know, does June work or August work?
There's June here, there's June, who else? There's August. There's August. No, we got 3 Junes, we got 3 August. It's June, so far it's winning. August is a tie again.
Okay, session of time management, you talking about us or just us or just?
That's true.
And then people who are interested in that always find out about that. Anything else you want to see?